Hello video game characters, I'm King Link and this is my review of The Hex. Now a quick but important note, I reached out to Daniel Mullins Games and asked for a review copy as I was a fan of their previous game, Pony Island, and actually Daniel Mullins provided me one. I appreciate it and it has not affected my thoughts on the game, but I feel like I need to disclose it here so you can best judge my review. Now this may be a fast review because The Hex is a little bit special. It's a heavy story-driven game that does so many different things, but they're all set up for you to experience rather than to be told about, so I'll try to limit what I'm saying here. Similarly, the game is going to be the opening of it. It's the same as the first look content, but I think as a game I don't want to really give anything special away. So we're going to be seeing the same video footage again. I initially found that the team that had released Pony Island had a new game out, and instantly I knew I had to play it. If you've never played Pony Island, it's very special and it's not something that you expect. I'll leave it at that, but you should check that one out too, it's a great game. Now I wanted something similarly unique from The Hex, and honestly, it delivers on it. The story starts with the 6 Pint Inn, where there are 6 video game characters sitting around drinking, and then the bartender gets a call that a murder is about to happen. We then get introduced to our first characters. It's a blue jeans wearing, a red shoe wearing weasel named Weasel Boy, but it's so clearly based on Sonic from Sega fame. And from there, on the screen, well, we'll see a little bit more, but eventually he gets transported back to the height of his video game career in platformers. I'm going to be stopping there, but what ends up happening is you start to see the lives of each of the 6 video game characters, what their games were like, and honestly, it's a unique take for a story. Hex delivers on this idea, and it really shines. The story here keeps pushing me forward, and honestly, it was great to see it. I'll even say that it can be a little bit complex, at least halfway through. It starts getting more than just a simple retelling of facts. But what's good is that in other games, they do a complex narrative by leaving out pieces of it. The Hex delivers a full experience in the story if you play it straight, and then it actually has a lot more that you can explore and discover as you play on. There's definitely more to see for the person who wants to dig deeper, but I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, I really don't want to spoil this game for anyone. Just enjoy the game. Now, the gameplay itself is actually impressively done. The Hex violates a very important rule of video game design. Do one thing and do it well. Now, a good example when this goes wrong is Spore, where they had 5 different games for each of the 5 generations of a creature, and, there was just a complex system in the game. The problem there was you had 5 different games that you had to create, and as a video game developer, that's 5 times the work, and it doesn't always work that way. The fact is, Hex does something similar, but I think the result is a little bit different. You see, in The Hex, the gameplay is more of a thematic element in the story than a direct challenge for the player. Now that does mean The Hex isn't always hard, but much of the game is at best a minor hurdle or a puzzle than a true challenge of the player's skill. It's the story and experience that should be drawing the player in, rather than a simple gameplay loop. A good example would be the first major piece of gameplay, the platformer. It's not exactly in the style of Sonic, which it's based on, but still has enough similarities that the point is made, and in fact all 6 characters in the game play in spoofs or very short genre games of their type. In a few ways, The Hex kind of feels like a gamer's game, or a developer's game, or one that the media will enjoy because it's a game about games. It's really designed to entertain people who understand all the genres that the game provides, not just one specifically. Outside of telling the player that the WASD keys and the mouse clicks are used, there's not much for tutorials for each of these games, but it's for the player to explore. And, if someone has played a platformer or an RPG, they already know the rules of that genre. That's not to say it's bad, but it does show kind of one of the issues of the game. If someone sees a spoof of a genre they've never seen before, is it as good? Can Spaceballs as a movie be as good without someone having seen Star Wars before? I'm not sure, but I think that fans might find the game lacks something if they aren't familiar with the genres that they're touching on. Though these are the most popular genres, I don't think most people are going to be confused by what the platformer levels are supposed to be like. I think as long as you've played a variety of games over the last couple years, you'll probably be okay here, though. Again, no spoilers, I'll leave it there. Now, the games do look good. There's actually a nice unified graphic style to the Hex, and so you're always going to feel like you're playing the Hex, even as the games change or the genres change and so on. The Hex really does a great job of changing the game style while keeping the player engaged in what they're doing. And like I said, this is going to be a fast review because I really don't want to say too much. Try to go into the Hex as fresh as possible, but there is one small thing that I do have to bring up. You know, the Hex is a really good game. Obviously, I've been glowing about it here, but a few parts of the game kind of linger a touch longer than they should. I won't say where they are, but they are the big reason that the game isn't getting a perfect score, and it's that small amount of pacing issues. At 6 hours, the lingering isn't bad, mind you, but there are small parts that could have been done more efficiently or a little bit better in my opinion. Overall, the thing is, I love the Hex. I think that's kind of obvious in this review. I wanted something unique, different, and special, and the Hex delivers on it. The story is excellent, the gameplay works well, and man, it's a game that I'm hoping some of my friends end up playing so I can sit down and we can go over it again, because it's a game that deserves to be discussed. I award the Hex a 4.5 out of 5. Now, you know, after a lot of these complex stories, I tend to have to go online to understand what I just saw or catch the pieces that I missed. In the Hex's case, I still went online, but it was because I wanted to talk about the game with other people and share our experiences. It's just a really engaging game and it's entertaining along the way. I keep doing this, but I want to say more, but I can't do that to you all. Check it out, enjoy it, and I have a feeling we'll be talking about this game in about 9 months coming up. That's the Hex, and man, what a game. I do want to say again that I did receive a review copy for this game. That did not affect my opinions on it, but I am disclosing it to you so you can make up your own mind. Coming up next, we need to take another look at the Humble Monthly Bundle because Minit is out, M-I-N-I-T. You know, it's a late edition, but it's actually a game that I've wanted to tackle for a long time, so the good news is it's coming up next. With all that said, I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you want to continue to see content like this, consider subscribing, and as always, I will give you my 100% honest opinion and take on any game. All I ask in return is a simple subscription, maybe a like, ringing the bell, or just sharing the video with someone else if you want them to see it. Together we can, well, play video games and make YouTube videos. We're not actually saving the world here, or are we? Until next time, I'm King Link, and thank you for watching.